In today's video, we're going to talk about Webflow and WordPress, using them in conjunction with each other to build a theme. So in my last video, I talked about a lot of people say it's either WordPress or Webflow. It's versus. Which one do you use? As I said in the last video, there's a lot of different ways of building websites. You don't have to use Webflow or WordPress. You can use Wix. You can use just a static HTML site that you build yourself. There's other CMS platforms like WordPress that you can build websites out of. But in this video, I want to talk about WordPress and Webflow because I had a lot of people ask me about Webflow. We don't use Webflow, but we do have UX designers that do use Webflow, and then they export the code and send us that code. And of course, we use WordPress on a lot of our sites because that's what our customers are looking for, and that's what people are used to. But we do use other things sometimes. We've used Laravel, we've used Joomla, which is absolutely the worst. So there's other things that you can use, but in this video, we're going to work on building a theme from a Webflow export. So here on the ideapro.io site that we use for all of our videos and testing and stuff like that, we have the default theme, and in our code here, we have the 2021 theme. That's the one that we have active on this site. All right. So then we have our Webflow. We're logged into Webflow, and we are on a new project page, like we're starting a brand new project. And I want to make this as short a video as possible and as quick a video as possible, just to give you an idea that you can use this to build out a theme. And so I'm not going to use the blank page and build out a layout. I can make a video on using Webflow and how Webflow works and how you can build that out yourself. But to make this video short, I want to just grab a theme that's already built and then use that for the template that we're going to use for our WordPress theme. All right. So we've got free templates. There's e-commerce templates. There's agency. There's all kinds of stuff that you can use on Webflow. And like I said, you can create a free, a blank site and build out your own custom page. And Webflow is really good for that if you don't want to worry about messing with the CSS and the JavaScript and the HTML. It does all that for you, and then you can export it and create the theme. So we're just going to grab one here, and let's grab Velocity. Let's just hit select, and we're going to call it example for YouTube. All right, create the site. Here it is. This is Velocity. This is the theme, just the theme that we selected. Now, this has a lot of stuff to it. Contact, there's what we do, services, tabs section. There's all kinds of stuff already built into this. So as I said, I don't want to go into the details of showing you guys all this stuff on how to use all of it. It's pretty simple to do. There's other videos that show it. If I need to make one, I will. It's very easy to use. What I want to show is there's a button here that you can export the code. And so it's going to load the code, and then it's going to give us the ability to download it. Now, if you have a free version, or if you're logged into Webflow and you haven't upgraded to a paid plan, then you can't download the zip file. You have to you would need to copy the HTML here, go over to the CSS, copy the CSS, go over to the JavaScript, copy the JavaScript, and then assets are a little harder because you really have no way of downloading them other than right-clicking and save image as or whatever. So I would say that if you're going to use Webflow to build your own theme, you need to probably buy at least the the basic package to build out one site or whatever. So, but we have a paid plan. I did that just for making this video. So we're going to click prepare zip, and it's going to prepare that zip file, and then we're going to download it. So we're going to paste this folder here. Paste item. So we're now in the themes folder of our ideapro.io site. So if we go back over here to our code, now we have this YouTube example theme here. All right, so we can open this and see, here's the index.html, contact.html, which we're not even going to worry about using that, but it is there. So we have the index.html page here, and this folder is our theme folder. We can use this. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting this together as a theme. The first thing what we're going to do is we want to rename this file. Rename, where is rename? Rename, here it is. Rename the index.html file, and we're going to call it old, index old.html. And the reason why we do that is because if we upload that index.html file to the theme, to this folder as our theme, that index.html file is going to be the first thing that our server looks for and delivers that file. And we don't want the index.html file to be delivered. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add a new file. So we're going to say new file, and we're going to call this file style.css. Okay, so now in this style.css, we're going to create, my microphone is in the way, the top here that says theme name, and it's going to be YouTube, get rid of that, YouTube example theme. All right, and then that's all we really need. We could add, you know, the author and all that stuff to the to that, and I can go into another video. I've done one actually on theme building where, you know, you go through and add all that information in there. We're not going to worry about it on there. We could add a description, building as an example. Right, so now we've added a description. If we want, we can, and like I said, you can add theme author and all that stuff in there, but we're not going to worry about it on this video. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to add another new file, and that file is going to be footer.php. We need to add another new file, header.php. We need to add another file called functions.php. And then we need to add a file called, I don't use that top one because it does that. Need to add another new file called index.php. All right, so now we have these files created, and we're now going to right click this and upload folder to the site. So if you don't use FTP in your software, you have to use FTP like FileZilla or something like that. I'm using Sublime Text 3 with SFTP from WP Bond. That is a purchase of the package for Sublime. So it's going to upload all the details of this folder to our server, and it's doing assets and all that stuff. So let that process. Get some more coffee. Okay, so now it's done doing that. Okay, so now we need to go to our header.php file, and we can open up index.html here, and we want to grab everything from the body up. So we're going to grab that. We're going to come over to the header.php file, and we're going to paste it here. So now we have that in there, and we can remove some of this stuff in here if we want. We can remove the data, all that. Last published, we don't care about last published. this site was created in Webflow. You should probably leave that in there. We're not going to for this video, but all right. So now for the title. So we've cleaned up the top a little bit, but now we're going to start adding in the information that WordPress needs. All right. So here we're going to open up some PHP tags, or I thought we were going to. Question mark PHP. All right. So we're going to say WP_title. All right. And then inside of this WP title, we're going to add 2 little ticks here. We're going to add a separator. Then we're going to say true. And then we're going to put in right. All right. So what that does is it brings in the title of the page that you're on. It puts in the pipe, this first one here, and then it's going to put it to the right of the page title. All right. So we're going to save that. I'm going to close this and reopen it. Header. All right. So now it turned my PHP code blue, and that's what I was looking for by closing it and reopening it. So now we're going to look at the different pieces here. We've got the viewport. We're going to leave that alone. Meta, Webflow, generator. We can leave that in there. Here's where we need to start looking at. All right, we've got the CSS, the normalize, and all this. So what we need to do here is we need to map to the folder for the CSS. So before this CSS here, we're going to open up a PHP bracket, and we're going to say echo get style sheet directory URI, and then we're going to say CSS, normalize CSS, style sheet, text, CSS. You can remove some of this, but we're going to leave it in there just to make it quick and easy. All right, so now we need to copy this and print it in front of each one of these style sheets. All right, and style sheet. So now we have our script tags here, the webfont.js. This is ajax.google, so it's being delivered by Google. You can go to this actual URL if you wanted to. Let's do that. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we're going to go back to our browser. We're going to paste in that URL. And now here is that JavaScript. So you could copy that JavaScript and save that as a local file and point to that local file. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to let it stay as the Google hosted webfont.js. And then we have this here, which is a webfont.load Google families. This is the font that it's actually loading. So we're going to leave this alone too. So now IE9 script, again, this is a CDN from Cloudflare. We can leave that alone, or we could bring that into a local file. It would be great if all the files were on a CDN, but they all need to be on the same CDN, not put them into Google and Cloudflare, and then if you have a different one that you use for images. It would be great if all the external files were either local or on a single CDN. Okay. So now we get into this JavaScript. This is some inline JavaScript here. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to leave that alone. We've got some images here, favicon, so we can do that same thing as copy this and put that in front of there and a slash. And we need slash in front of each one of these. So let's do that. Okay, so slash images favicon.ico, and then we're going to paste that and we're going to put a slash there. So what that does is it now gives us access to this images folder where all these assets are and points it in the right direction. Okay, so now on the body in WordPress, we typically put in the body class function that brings in the information that WordPress delivers to that body class. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to open up some PHP tags. And then we're going to say body class like that. So what that does is it brings in any classes that WordPress says that the body needs. And then inside of there, if we wanted to add classes to the body ourselves, inside of here, we could add the classes. So if we wanted to add a class to it, we would say our own class, right? In the space. And then if we wanted to add another one that was called Webflow specific, whatever it was, right? But we're not going to worry about adding any classes in there right now. We're just going to leave this blank so that WordPress can pull in whatever body, whatever classes they want. So then right here above the closing head tag, we're going to open up some PHP brackets, and we're going to say WP underscore head. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring in any plugin files that need to go into the head. So if you install a plugin that puts JavaScript or CSS or whatever into the head file, that will pull in all that. Okay, so now we're done with the head tag. Actually, we're not. What we need is now we need the, where did it go? Where did our index type HTML go? Must have closed it. So now we need the menu that goes on top. So let's look here. We've got, it starts here, and it's going to go to, this is velocity. So this is the menu here. So this is the entire top menu header. So we've got the velocity name, which is the logo, home, contact, and then the hamburger for the mobile navigation. So we're going to copy that, and then we're going to add a couple of spaces in there so that we know kind of where we're at. We're actually going to add this to the header too. So now we have the menu at the top. So what we can do is we can look at changing this, the velocity 1. Let's change that to YouTube example. All right, and we could add in an image file there for the logo. Not going to worry about it in this example. And so now we have our menu here and our hamburger for the mobile. All right, so we're going to save that. Then we're going to go over here to the footer. So we're going to come down to the bottom here, and we're going to find where the footer starts, and that is this section here. So we're going to bring all this, even copy the body, closing body tag, and the HTML. And then we're going to come over to the footer, and we're going to paste all this in. Now, again, this is about velocity, and they've got some lorem ipsum text in there, useful links. We're going to leave these alone for right now. We can come back to them. Social icons and all that. We'll come back to all this in just a minute. So down here we have a script tag that is, again, cloudfront.net. Over here we had Cloudflare. Where is that one? Yeah, Cloudflare. So see, they use so many different CDNs. So this one's Cloudflare. On the footer now they're using, CloudFront. And this actually has a integrity hash here. So if you were to bring this file in locally or on your own CDN, you would need to take out this integrity hash and cross origin anonymous, because more than likely you're not going to have that running on your server. We do on our Idea Pro server, but this integrity hash would need to be changed based on that local file. So if you made any changes to anything in jQuery, if you brought that over, you would need to redo the integrity hash. Okay, so now we have this webflow.js here that is on the local in the local JS folder. So we're going to go back over to the header, and we're going to copy this style sheet function here. We're going to come back to the footer. We're going to paste that in front and put a slash. So then again, here on here's another one, cloudflare.com for the IE9 browsers, and then front.net is here. But we're not going to worry about that. We're going to leave that all alone right now. We're going to save this file. So right here before the closing body tag, we need to bring in the WP footer function, and that brings in any additional plugins, footer files. So now we're going to save that. Okay, so now we're going to go into our ideapro.io site here. And so then we're going to go to appearance and themes. So here we have our YouTube example theme, and we're going to activate that. All right. And so now we're going to take a look at what the site looks like. Refresh, and it doesn't look like anything at all. And the reason why is because we haven't done anything to index.php file. All right. So the first thing we're going to do up here is we're going to say get header. Whoops. And we'll leave that alone, and we'll come down here and say get footer. Come on. All right, we save that, and then we're going to come back over to the browser and our refresh, and look at that. We automatically have the header and the footer for the theme. Okay, so now we're going to go to our functions.php, and there's a couple things we're going to do inside this functions.php. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to say show admin bar false. All right, and so then we're going to come back over here and we're going to refresh. And what that did is it got rid of that WordPress admin bar. Whenever I'm building out a theme, I like to turn that off just to make it a little cleaner and a little easier to see. So if we comment that out, we come back over here and refresh, it puts this admin bar, and then we got to scroll up to be able to see the whole thing. So I always put show admin bar false. Where's my mouse? There it is. Show admin bar false. That way it gets rid of that admin bar, and we can see what our website's going to look like from there. So as you can tell, everything's loading, everything looks good. If we do a mobile version, we inspect, click here. Now it's going to bring in the hamburger menu. Everything is working like it should based on that Webflow theme that we're building out. All right, so now we're going to start bringing in the WordPress information, right? So on this index.php file here, we're going to now bring in the page information for this default file. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to open up a PHP bracket, and we're going to say while have posts the underscore post, the underscore content in while. All right. So now by doing that, we save this, we come back over to this page and refresh. Now we have the information that is coming from the actual page. So if we go to the page here and we look at the sample page, which is our front page, this is all that information, and we can delete this shortcode that was for something else. So we can update and refresh, and now that that information is there. Now to bring in the rest of the details from here, so we've took the footer and we've took the header, right? Now we've got all this other information here. We've got this hero section. If we wanted to add that, we've got a the different sections throughout the site here. And so if we wrap the stuff that we're doing in a session or a section here, so if we come back over here and we paste this here, and then we're going to close off those two divs. Come on, there we go. Close off that div and close off that div. Save. Come over here and refresh the page. Now we've brought that container into the middle. And of course, we can bring in each one of these. So let's do the hero here. If we want to bring this hero in, and we want to put this right up here at the top, save, come back over here and refresh. Now we have this hero section. Okay, so there's all kinds of things we can do with bringing this, building this template out with Webflow. And we can change any of this stuff. So we can change the background and all that stuff. You can adjust each one of these pieces. So if we go back into the header, we can add additional pages here. So we've got the home page and we got contact HTML. So let's fix this href. So in the home href, we're going to say echo site URL. We can do that. And then here we can do echo site URL dot contact, right? So then we come back over here and we refresh the page. We've got home and then we've got contact, which page doesn't exist. We got to put a, where am I at here? A slash in front of it. Let's go back, refresh. And now if we click contact, it's going to take us to the contact page, but the page wasn't found because it's not a page in here. So if we add new page and say contact, this is the contact page, and publish, and then we come back over here and refresh. Oops, I hit tab at the same time. Refresh. So now we're on the actual contact page, and this is the contact page. So we can build out, and then we'll click home and go back to the main page. So we can build out a site based on a Webflow template. Of course, we can go in and edit all of this stuff, and I can go into more details about building these templates out, like changing this menu to a WordPress menu, and doing the same thing with, you know, footer links and the about information. We can change this to a widget so that you can add stuff into that widget. Same thing with this, we could change that to a widget and build out the details of this theme. But that's pretty much the basics of building out a theme for the using Webflow and WordPress together. So now we have a really nice looking theme that we can add all the content to that we want. And as far as this hero image here being on the index page, we could take this out and then create a template page. So we're going to create a new file, and this could be template hero.php. All right, so then here at the top, we're going to open up PHP, and we're going to say template name hero image, right? And then we can do that, boom. And then here we're going to do get, what am I doing? Get header. There we go. And then down here, we're going to say get footer. We're going to put in that HTML for the hero image. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to copy this here for the content in the middle. There we go. So that's our middle content. So now we have the hero image. We've removed it from this page. So we're going to save that, make sure that's uploaded. We're going to save this one, make sure it's uploaded. And we're going to come back over here and refresh. And now this is the contact page. It's not using the hero image. So we're going to go to the home. And again, this isn't using the hero image either. This is just our content. But if we go over to pages and go to our front page, and go over to templates, we can use the hero image template and update. And so then we can come back over here and refresh our home page, and now we have that hero image using that template. If you've done that and you don't see the template here, you may need to go down to settings and permalinks and hit Save Changes. And what that'll do is that will kind of refresh the site and bring in that that template. So, and then that should show up here. So, hope that is a short enough, quick enough video. It can get really long when you start adding in all the details of theme support for thumbnails, the default image that shows on the page. Again, you can, with the newest version of, after they've released Gutenberg, you can go in here and add a new hero image yourself. Let's just add over here image. So we could add a big image here, media library, select files. We have no files in here. Anyway, we could add an image in here and use that like a hero image. So making it where the actual hero image shows up here, we don't even have to do that with Gutenberg, because we put in the head tags in the header here, getting the header. We are pulling also into the site all of the Gutenberg stuff. So we have, the WordPress emojis, which I usually remove. We have the WP block library CSS here. So we're pulling in all that Gutenberg stuff so that our website works based on the Gutenberg stuff and the footer and all that kind of stuff. So I started editing the video and realized that one of the things that I left out was to put in the social media icons here in the bottom in the footer. So I'm going to do that really quick. So we're going to go to the footer. We're going to go to social media icons here, and we're going to do the same thing that we did here. And hopefully you guys figure that out without me telling you. We're going to do that and then a slash for images. So on each one of these, we're going to put in the get template directory URI, get style sheet directory URI. And so if we save that and we come back over here and we refresh our page, now we have the icons for the social media that we didn't put in the original. Hope this video kind of helps you guys understand that you can use Webflow with WordPress. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a is or a, one or the other. It doesn't have to be a versus. You can use it in conjunction with WordPress. And I would suggest, if you're going to use the sections built out in WordPress or in Webflow, that you build all those into a page, export that page so it gets all the JavaScript, all the CSS, everything you need, and then cut it apart the way I did to create a template. So let me know in the comments if you guys want me to continue this, building out this theme where we have the WordPress menus coming in, and we have the widgets and different areas like that that we can build out. So hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell for future videos so you get notified for future videos. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks.